We're continuing the Mishnah Yomi in the first parak of Terumot at Mishnah Chet, the 8th Mishnah. Ein tormin shemen al zaitim hanichtashim. We can't take truma from oil, out of a barrel of already made oil, onto olives that are intended to become crushed. Now, even though you're going to make these olives into oil, you can't take truma from the oil onto these olives. The mice, they're not oil yet. V'lo yayin al navim hanidrachim, and not from wine onto grapes that are going to become trampled and squeezed into wine. V'im tarum trumata truma. But if he went ahead and did so, it is bidi evid valid. So he has created truma, v'yachazar v'yitrum, but he has to go back and take truma again. And that second truma we're going to see is a rabbinical penalty for taking from processed produce onto not yet processed produce. Harishona midamat bifnei atzma. So Mishnah explains that the first truma is actually truma deraita, and it makes dimua, it makes a mixture if it's mixed with chulin. Chayavin aleya chomesh, and if a non-kohen goes ahead and mistakenly, accidentally eats this first truma, he has to pay the chomesh. We're going to see in Terumot, this chomesh, this 1/5, is sort of the tax or the penalty for a non-kohen accidentally consuming truma. Avolo shnia, but the second truma, he has to go back, remember, and separate a second truma. That's not truma deraita, it's only truma derabanan, so there's no chomesh, and it doesn't make a dimua, it doesn't mix up with chulin and cause an aser mixture. Mishnah Tet has a variation on this case. It's very interesting. V'tormin, but you could take truma shemen al zaitim hanichbashim, from oil onto olives that are going to be pickled olives, these green olives. And the Mishnah continues, V'yayin al navim lasotin simukim, and you can take truma out of wine onto grapes that you're about to make into raisins. What's going on is the oil and the wine are the finished product, and the olives and the grapes that are going to be made into pickled olives and into raisins, they don't require a lot of processing. You just throw them in the jar and you leave it, or you just throw them on the roof and they dry out and become raisins. So they're basically, since you've decided to use them for pickles or for raisins, they're already practically there. You just got to put them in the right place. They don't really need a lot of intensive work, unlike raw olives and raw grapes that are going to be made into oil or wine, respectively, that need a whole process. Hare shetarim shemen al zaitim lachila. But if you took truma from oil onto olives that were for eating, v'yayin, or you took truma from wine, ala novim lachila, or you separated truma out of a barrel of wine onto to pater, to take truma on the grapes that were for eating, ve'anavim al anavim lachila, or from grapes onto grapes for eating, v'nimlach, and then he changes his mind, l'darchan, and he's going to press them into liquid. Einot tzarich litram. He doesn't have to go and take another truma. His truma is valid because he's changing his mind. He took in a mutter way, and now he's changing his mind to make it, to process it more into liquid form. But his original intent was to have it in the solid form, so his truma was valid, and he doesn't need a new truma. Shkoyach Rabosai.